He slipped a drug into the girl's drink and sweet-talked her into finishing it. When she got up to use the bathroom, she felt dizzy. Nick tried to kiss her, but sensing something was wrong, she tried to leave only to find others blocking the doorway. They breathed in the scent of her hair as they began their vile plan. Small and defenseless, she couldn't fight back. They had their way with her until they got bored and finally let her go. Back home, she broke down crying. Tom saw the blood on her thighs and immediately realized how serious this was. She told him about the assault she'd just endured. When Mary was heading home after school, a boy invited her to his birthday party. She eventually said yes, not knowing it was all a setup. Tom helped Mary to a room, heartbroken thinking about what happened to Annie. After pulling himself together, he immediately called 911. When the cops arrived, they found plenty of evidence. But then the police chief suddenly showed up, not to serve justice, but to bail out his son. Tom was devastated when he heard. Days later, the girl was called in to give her statement. She thought she'd finally get justice, but the chief had already paid off the officers. They forced her to relive every painful detail, then twisted the story, claiming she'd seduced the boys for money. Unable to bear these lies, she went home and locked herself in the bathroom. Tom took all his military medals to the prosecutor, hoping to trade them for justice. But the prosecutor was in the chief's pocket too. He claimed insufficient evidence and refused to file charges. Tom left furious. He then found an arms dealer, who was surprised to see an old man wanting to buy a gun. When asked why, Tom said he just needed to take out some scumbags. The dealer suggested calling the police instead. Tom's face fell. If the cops could help, he wouldn't be here. Tom went to his cousin's house and set up a sniper rifle. He took aim and pulled the trigger without hesitation, blowing the champagne bottle right out of the kid's crotch. As the bottle shattered, the boy screamed in agony. Tom collected the shell casing, hid the rifle, and acted like nothing happened. At the hospital, doctors noticed the wound didn't look like it came from an exploding bottle. When an officer checked the boy's room and found a bullet hole in the couch, he suspected Tom's revenge. Tom set up again. As his target got into a new car, Tom aimed at the gas tank and fired, then melted into the crowd to cover his tracks. 2 down, 1 to go, but this one's father was the police chief. The case caught the chief's attention since both victims were connected to his son. He suspected someone was out for revenge, but Tom had left no trace. The chief couldn't find any evidence. He warned his son not to go out or even near windows. Suspecting Tom, the chief immediately led a team to search his house. They looked everywhere but found nothing. Just as they were about to leave, his cousin came by to get her keys. The chief insisted on checking her place too. Standing by the window looking at the house across the street, he suddenly understood, but they still found no evidence. The chief warned Tom to stay away from his son. Tom simply said it was already too late. Thinking something had happened to his son, the chief rushed home. No matter how hard he knocked, there was no answer. Panicking, he pulled out his gun to break down the door. At almost the same instant, a bullet from inside hit him in the stomach. The shooter was his own son. He'd been so on edge that he'd completely lost it, thinking the killer had found him. He'd accidentally shot his own father.